positive vibrations. This is Body-Culinary. And I'm just coming in this evening as I am finishing up some chores and folding some things. And I just wanted to ask a question. So I've been studying a lot of styling, repurposing clothes. This is coming from someone that has spent a large amount of money over the years on fashion. And, as I look back with some hard earned wisdom, I think about how much of it has gone into the garbage. And although I really like fashion, I think about my priorities and how much I prioritize being comfortable in my body, being pain free, able to get from point A to point B. If it's raining, or if the weather should change, if I need to move fast. It's also a lot going on in the environment. So being able to transport myself, that means if I need to sprint, run, jump, whatever I need to do, those are actually, I think about it a lot. It's a priority for me to be able to move. And then also as someone that has decluttered, done major decluttering and downsizing for many years with the intention of doing lots of travel and thinking of relocating. I downsize a lot. And if anyone out there has ever done a lot of downsizing, it's humbling and breathtaking to realize how much stuff, just how much physical stuff we accumulate. I've done a bit of traveling and even in the different types of work I've done, I usually will create some type of a kitchen, a workout area, and now some type of plants wherever I go on the planet. So I will always acquire fitness equipment. I'll always have my kitchen healing laboratory. And a play space. Those are priorities. Those are lifestyle. And I must have sunlight and some plants. These are things that I set as a standard for me to live a healthy life where I feel good on a daily, no matter what's going on around me. If I have access to sunshine every day, access to my eyes laying on some type of plants and flowers, like I need to have plants and flowers in my environment because it greatly affects my mood. To have a big play area, greetings, Dora. To have a big play area because I prioritize movement. I prioritize movement more than, I don't know if you all grew up with the sectionals, the couches, the big couches. They got a big one, another piece, and a lazy boy. When I was growing up, they had all these different sections of a huge couch. To me, and everyone is different, it occurred as clutter. And then there were the china cabinets and all of the beautiful dishes that got pulled out for special occasions, but quite often those special occasions never came. So I don't know if y'all remember slip covers. When I was growing up, my grandmother, they had slip covers on all the furniture, and we were told we couldn't sit on the furniture. Now I get children can tear stuff up. I'm a mother. So, but I just always felt like it's like with clothes. I don't know if any of you can relate. Sometimes you're holding on to these things you spent your money on. It's a mentality, and you never wear them. Like you're waiting. Maybe it comes from play clothes. I don't know, after school. But it's like you're always waiting before you put your good stuff on. Anywho, I'm going to talk a little about styling because I've been studying styling and fashion and how this all can relate to a lifestyle of ease and relaxation. And when I say that's a value for me, that is a value that is important to me. Just like my food is important. We're all in a different spectrum as humans, so we may have different things that are important. Though I can clearly identify health, being able to play in ease and being pain free is a priority and a value for me that I'm not willing to compromise. If you're new to this channel, welcome. I'm Body-Culinary, professional chef, personal trainer. I coach people that overeat junk, and I hold some positive space with accountability, play, recipes. It's a lot of fun for those folks that want to upgrade their lifestyle. A lifestyle that can serve you until your hair is white, not a diet, right? So that's through the vehicle of whole, fresh, living foods. That's fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, things that your body and your cells can recognize, right? And play. a personal movement practice, as well as incorporating garden therapy. And I recommend those things and I share those things on this channel. 3 lifestyle practices, leverage lifestyle practices that give you something back for the investment, the valuable currency of your time and your attention. We may not think that they're monetized, but they are. Our attention is like a battery, right? And so the longer we stay on these sites, whether you're male or female, the different things that we click on, companies study this. This information is bought and sold to determine what we will pay for, what we would like to be distracted by, which is not necessarily negative, though it is an exchange. So hopefully you're getting something back for your time and your attention spent on the internet. So I share some of my journey of radical self-acceptance and 3, as you can see, I've got kinky, um, cottony hair, and it's very, very fine. And this is just what it does. I'm not retwisting. I'm not doing any products. That's not a priority for me. Did all other stuff. That's just not a priority. So I share some of my journey of radical self-acceptance and anything having to do with a personal movement practice, starting your garden, and peaceful consumption, which is basically food that loves you back. So I'm sharing some of my journey. If you're interested in this kind of content, feel free to like, comment respectfully, and subscribe. There's a puppet series on this channel called Sister Butterfly and Sister Monkey Learn to Eat Better. There's relaxation videos, a lot of doodads. And if you're interested in coaching, we meet every Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's group coaching. And then there is also a free component of community where I share different types of posts, from workouts or the accountability, the feedback from your heart rate monitor, or however you're monitoring your fitness, right? This is a business. So how do you determine if you're being effective with your movement practice or with your food? So if you're into and you're up to starting a garden, or you're in your garden and you're excited and you want to share it, feel free to share that in Flower Fit community. You'll need to download the Discord app, fill out the application so we can put a face with a person so that it's a safe space. So you can share your workouts, what you're doing in your garden, and I share other things there on mental health and so on. So that's a positive community coming together around those practices. Okay, so in any event, I'm folding clothes this evening, and I was sitting here and I was feeling my hair, which I do from time to time. And I recommend that you do this, right? This is also something I like to do with self-massage on a regular basis, daily. Breast massage, we talk about that more another time in Flower Fit. Breast massage and stomach massage with cold pressed coconut oil, as long as you're not allergic, and olive oil. It is soothing, and it's a wonderful way to check in with your body to make sure everything is in its place, and to feel normally what it feels like, to make sure there are no growths there, right? That is the priority, is that they're healthy and tumor and growth free. Also, doing these types of practices, similar to peaceful consumption, garden therapy, and your personal movement practice, I would say they're a type of technology that can really affect us at the subconscious. So for example, when you're giving yourself a massage, you will start to turn on your awareness and be grounded, as we say in movement and yoga and different types of movement modalities. You become more aware of being present in a physical body. And so you start to turn your attention this way instead of on the movie screen of your mind, if that makes sense. So there are practices. The more you do these simple practices, things that you can incorporate into your lifestyle, like self-massage or massaging, really just touching and feeling your hair. It's not necessarily twisting, because I'm not doing any kind of twisting, but just feeling. You can feel certain things, right? So we have breast and we have stomach massage. In this case, if I look at my hair, which is very fine, I can see I'm constantly getting a haircut with the areas that used to be double strand twists. And so now they are something totally different. They're all flat here. But as I'm feeling them, if you just sit quietly and you feel and you breathe your hair, I can feel if it's brittle. It's not brittle at all. It's very soft and spongy. There's no oil in it. But I can feel some areas, right, where I'm like, do I want to let these? I can feel I just separated them, right? So I can feel if they're spongy. That's a good sign. I can feel, I let the part go away. Just washed it yesterday. But I can also feel the area. I'm like, as you mature over time, I think you're going to need a little support. So should I let you just grow with the other one? next to you. So you can kind of feel, it's like a noticing and awareness. You can feel your hair. And I'm someone, I don't have a whole lot of locks. I saw one of my older videos where I had, I think it was 40 locks, and now I have about, I thought it was 30, but I think it's about 32, because I was just feeling them. The only reason I could count is because it's not a lot. So if anything, I'm going to balance them out, and I'm okay with them growing wide and fluffy. But I can feel over time, and I can see what they look like, wear and tear. So I can say, oh, this is going to be another haircut. So I was almost tempted. I was almost tempted just now to just to take the scissors and start cutting, but I said, let me just be easy. Let me be easy. But I'm feeling my hair, and I can feel it actually feels really, it feels really good where it's fluffy, where it feels like it's more, let's see, again, like with the, it feels sturdy. That's the way I can describe it. It feels sturdy, and it feels like, it can withstand time and being washed, especially as not adding oil to it. It's something, it just feels good. That's the best way I can describe it. I don't know, I can't see, maybe y'all this, it feels good, right? And so as I was sitting here and I was feeling and touching my own hair, a little hair in my mouth, I was thinking how, and I think about this often with food, right? I think about how wonderful, maybe, I don't know if wonderful is the word, how grounding it is to feel yourself, literally. For example, to feel if you've eaten too much food, if your last meal digested. Talk about this a lot in our coaching in the morning, as we're huffing and puffing through the movement practice and through the exercise session at 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Um, some people can be very demanding and asking for workouts and for recipes, and I get that, and they are great tools. However, I feel like what is elusive to us is very nuanced, especially when it comes to allowing and holding space for our bodies to reach or achieve and balance out to a healthy weight, right? The only kind of weight we really want to lose, although everybody wants to lose weight, the only weight we ever want to release, make that distinction, is unhealthy adipose tissue. We don't ever want to lose muscle. And some of us are in such a state of anxiety because it's somewhere in the back of our mind, we know intuitively that it's not healthy, right? That our organs are taxed. And it really feels a way to have a lot of unhealthy, additional undigested meals, right? On our body. And we also know that usually, if this is not you, leave it right here. But many of us may be aware subconsciously, although we're soothing ourselves and making ourselves feel good like a security blanket with these different substances, whether that be food, whether that be different kinds of things that we're smoking or drinking, to get a chemical response to make us feel better. Intuitively, I think that we suspect and that we know in our subconscious that it is not addressing the issue head on, or that we may be avoiding something, or that certain emotions we're not allowing to come to the surface. And it is something that is beyond, that I've observed is beyond intellect. You can have several degrees, you can know a lot intellectually, you can have a lot of information. Yet when we're talking or when we're considering the subconscious, right, and our ego, which does have a practical purpose, we're talking about our mind trying to keep us safe, if you will, to protect us from things that we fear or things that have happened to us, which now we have a record of it, and now we want to make sure, subconsciously, our ego's on the lookout for any of these things happening to us again. So we are wired for self-preservation. And without really understanding our psyche, several things can come through the back door. So I don't want to get too off track because it's a whole nother discussion. Yet, feeling yourself and being grounded in your body, whether that's too much food, too little food, if that is feeling how good your body temple feels when it is comfortable, and when you're not preoccupied with the anxiety to alter yourself, really. Again, I want to make a distinction from being creative and playing in colors or makeup and flowers. Is something that we do too. That's not a crime. But I'm just saying, to be able to be comfortable in your skin, like really, really, it requires, I would say, like a slowing down it's a slowing down to notice and to cultivate an awareness. I would say this is a huge part. It's very nuanced. It's a lot of what is missing from weight loss. And it is elusive. I think perhaps because these conversations or this kind of awareness, it can get co-opted, and we can get so drawn off into a religious practice, a prescribed somebody else's interpretation of a spiritual practice, into another diet, into bodybuilding, where in contrast to everybody has an onboard divine innate intelligence. It's just something that you're born with. And so when you breathe during your movement practice, when you slow down, when you're in the garden, when you take your time to chew, it almost seems like it's too simple. Though what's missing is the presence and the awareness. I would say it is one of the most challenging things today to be present, to not get sucked into uh, not being present anymore. Though there's so much stimulus that is coming at us in the in stimulating our senses in the ear, in the eyes, and it's all messages, it's all stories, they're all things being suggested that it's almost like we can't handle it. So you just get sucked into this hypnosis. A lot of it has a lot of fear, stimulation, enticement towards pleasure. A lot of it can distract us from our actual feelings and from actually being grounded inside of our bodies. So it's so interesting. We seek out, more practices, and we make meditation. I'm someone that's gone to meditation caves and gone to ashrams and, tried all kinds of things. Yet just the simple act of feeling your hair, breathing through your movement practice, being in the garden, I think they can be, I think they can shorten your learning curve to being grounded and being aware. And it's actually something that's so simple that you have access to. Yeah, and it's something to be experienced. It's something to be experienced. So in any event, I'm sitting here feeling my hair, and every time it's only about 30, 32 locks. I get so distracted. Somehow I can't seem to like keep up. It's 30, 32. That's why I can't be bothered. But I'm feeling one lock, and it's been there for the longest time. And I think of like, should I let it combine? But I just don't feel like forcing it. So there's one kind of hair holder that I use. And this one, because my hair is so delicate, I'm not going to twist it, because right now it can't be twisted. It would turn it into something else. And you would see my whole scalp. And I'm not doing that. So there are these little elastic hair holders, and this one I found matches my hair. My hair is actually not, I'm clear now, it's just not black. It's not red and it's not black. So I can see the natural color of my hair because there's no dye in it. Yeah, some people say you don't have grays. I got a couple of little grays, and when they come, que sera. So I was figuring, I was like, I found these two locks over here, and I was like, I think y'all would feel really nice together. So it's only two of them. So I think, I don't know, intuitively it feels really good. They feel puffy at the root. And this is what I've said before, to retrain, or um, perhaps we can retrain our eyes, right? Because we're so used to the slicked, and again, I'm not making them bad or wrong, slick bangs. I used to like the baby hair with the toothbrush. I was doing it like over 30 something, 40 something years ago. But this is something different, right? To experience your own self. When you start feeling your own self, you'll realize how much you weren't present and how much you weren't feeling your own self, because the puff and the fluff, the very thing that I've been encouraged to get rid of, it feels good. It actually, I'm like, this puff thing. And I remember a time where with my skinny, these used to be big puffy double strand twists, and look how they matured. And I looked at an old video. I think it said, uh, maybe according to that video, this is 6 years old, my locks. And I started from double strand twist. So I can see what my hair does when it matures. But these were kind of twisted, little kind of palm rolled. I wasn't like tight palm rolled, but now with no twisting, I can see what the hair looks like. So it feels healthier. Definitely my scalp feels par excellence. No dandruff, no itching, no nothing. Even I'm sweating with working out, but I can just feel, you can see that these two will feel good and feel more grounded together. And I can also think as my hair matures, and I know I'm going to get a haircut with these here, and then it'll be left with all these thicker flat ones, right? This will feel more secure as I get older, or as long as I keep these, it will be grounded and it will be secure, right? So it's not so fine and so thin. I would have loved sister locks. I don't know if they would have survived in my very fine hair. I just like the fact that it's not. I mean, I do see some women now oil their sister locks. Some don't. Some just shampoo it. But just the freedom, the thought of the freedom with sister locks has always appealed to me. Being in a chair for hours, no. So I was like, well, how can I do this? Well, this is so discreet because it's the same color of my hair. I thought maybe I just put it around. Now again, my hair is so fine. It's so much room inside of it. This would probably just fall off, right? Even though there, again, my hair grows wide, flat, which I embrace, instead of round, full. And that's just because it's so fine. It's like all of them are completely pancake flat. So I have to be careful not to even put these hair holders in there too tight because it will leave indentations. Yet because my hair is so fine, I can afford, and I still have space with this wrapped around it twice. So I think I might experiment with just leaving this here. And I just pulled my hair apart. It seems like recently, as I rinse it a bit more, that it joins together quicker. So I think I pulled my hair apart 2 times this week. Usually I don't really even care. It doesn't bother me. But just these two over here, I went through and I felt all of them. But there's something about that thick fluffiness. I don't know. It just feels so. It just feels so good. It feels so good. It feels good that it's mine. It's mine. I mean, again, I could cut this off. I love a peach fuzz cut. So as I've said before, if this was all, hanging on by a shoestring, I would give me some clippers and I would cut this sucker off and I would be comfortable. I wouldn't need to go to any salons. I'd probably, I might do some henna designs or whatever, but I feel very comfortable in my skin and I feel like I have options for that type of beautification with myself that is sacred and it's mine. I don't need to subject myself. No offense to the brethren out there, but to go into a barbershop and to hear all kinds of talk that I don't necessarily want to hear and conversations and waiting online and perhaps the clippers not being clean. I don't have to deal with any of that. I can come to my own sacred space surrounded by flowers and plants and burn some incense and cut my own hair if I wanted to. So whether it's long or short, whatever, right? But this, I just encourage you. Let me know, do y'all take your time and just feel your hair? This is a different experience. Actually, I just thought of when I used to have a perm. I remember when you would be feeling in it to see if there's new growth. Y'all remember that? Can any of y'all relate? We'll be feeling in the hair to see if there's new growth. And as soon as you feel it, y'all tell me, what was the internal dialogue? Oh my gosh, I got to go get another kit. I got to go get another perm. I remember some of my friends that just the slightest hint of your natural hair coming back out, you had ran to the store, with your money from your little summer youth job to get some more creamy crack and quickly smooth it in there. Sometimes we wouldn't even put no Vaseline to protect the skin. And we were slicking that stuff back on it so we could get rid of that because the hair had to be looking polished. And it'll really look polished back. I mean, technology's come better. Styling techniques have come a long way. Yet, if we really look at it, one woman's perspective, we were looking like we were on a struggle bus. And I used to think like ponytail, we don't really have a ponytail. When my hair was short, it wasn't locked. We had puffs. We never had a ponytail, right? My aunties, when they were coming up, they used to tell us they used to have horsehair. They literally used to have the horsehair, however they were working their weeds or whatever back then, or pinning it in, and that they said their hair was itching profusely, but they literally had the ponytail on their hair. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? And it doesn't match. It's such a sharp contrast. I mean, today we have some women that are making it look snatched, but for the most part, it doesn't. I personally, and I've had a wig before. I had a quick little stint with a wig. I remember graduating from high school, we had a trip to Great Adventure. That was a big thing, to go to Great Adventure. And I was trying to follow behind the fashionistas. you know, and find my own style back then. I remember, I got to dig up that picture. I had a little bob. I guess it was kind of cute, but I always felt like it was just too much work, too much work. And then I discovered Kimmy Kane on the cover of Essence magazine, and that was all she wrote. I took one look at that sister, this famous designer. He's passed away, and his favorite model, his muse, was named Kimmy Kane. She had a short Caesar, and she was a very voluptuous model. So I hadn't seen that before. I hadn't seen the Caesar haircut, that short peach fuzz, and I hadn't seen a voluptuous black model. And I saw it one time, and I said, I want that. I want that. I want that. And I've mentioned before, my first boyfriend was like, oh, no. We won't be doing that. I had a Jerry curl. I was fronting like it was a curly whatever, with the Jerry curl activated juice and everything on my collars. And he was like, no, your hair is supposed to be pretty. It's supposed to be long. And I was thinking like, yeah, but I want that. I was like, don't you think this is pretty? He was like, no, your hair is supposed to look like this. Then my grandfather was like, a woman's hair is her glory. And I was thinking like, my hair is my glory, but I want that. Okay. So I had a good friend, homie, who was very fashion forward and ahead of her time. My god sister, she was like, you want to get a cut? I'll go with you. And shout out to Cashapp, if anybody knows Cashapp back in the day, one of the first premier African or black-owned barbershops and hair salons was called Cashapp. Oh, what's this guy named Lester something? Wow, that was so fashion forward. So I think, did she go with me there? Did we go to Cashapp? No, I visited Cashapp. We maybe had to get an appointment or something. Oh, so no, somebody that worked at Cashapp. I wound up going to African Trendsetters. Oh my gosh, this brother could cut his behind off, and he's still looking very dapper to this day. And I had Senegalese twists, which another fashion forward sister, one of my high school buddies. She was very fashion forward. I had never seen Senegalese twists. I took one look at her hair. I was like, who did that? She was like, this African sister named Hadi did it. Give me her number. I need to go get her hair. Nobody was really rocking that back then. It was a new thing to get the Nefertiti's, the pillbox cut, the kid and play that was going over to the side. Oh my gosh. I remember they used to go into the we went to the shop. They had the book so you can choose what style you wanted. So I went in there and I was like, I saw the Nefertiti. I didn't want the slant to the side. That was a little extreme for me. But I wanted the rounded cut. I really wanted to cut it all off, but I said, I'll just do, and I had a decent amount of hair, right? I had a nice big afro underneath my Senegalese twist, but it still had a little of that curly perm. It still had curly perm in it. I just wasn't making it as greasy. So when I went into the shop, I took the Senegalese twist out, and I said, okay, I want to get a cut. And the guy was like, are you sure you want to cut all your hair off? I was like, yeah, just cut it. Just cut it. And he took the scissors. He took a big chunk out. I was like, keep going, keep going. And the rest of the men in the barbershop were looking like, wow, that girl's going to cut all her hair off. I never felt more stunning. I felt like, oh my God, I couldn't stop looking at myself. I was like, that's me. I felt like I looked beautiful. You could tell me nothing. Like I felt so, and that was such a paradigm shift. I will never forget that as long as I live. I was not greased. I was, what do they call it? Cheesing. I was cheesing from ear to ear. As soon as I got home, I went in the bathroom. My cousins were trying to get in the bathroom. I locked the door and I couldn't stop staring at myself. And then my grandpa and my brother looking at me like, what's wrong with you? You cut your hips. Woman's hair is a glory. And I was thinking, it is my glory. I was like, don't you like my hair? I was thinking like, I love it. It looks beautiful. And so they was like, I loved it. I loved it. I went and got me a nice little outfit that felt natural with my little, what was the jeans? They were Jabot jeans. Shout out. If you remember Canal Jean Company and Jabot jeans, the style back then. Ooh, what song was out back then? The Jungle Brothers and Girl, I'll House You. Girl, I'll House You. Girl, I'll House You. You in my hut now. So let me not date myself. But it was some fashion folk. Oh, wait a minute. Who else was it? Oh gosh, make me think of like Diggable Planets, the Jungle Brothers, Q-Tip. These are folks I went to school with, X-Clan. So it was quite a few fashion forward folks. And so I guess we had a kind of surge of natural hair back then, and the big hoop earrings. So it was becoming very fashion forward. I was coming into my own, but I never felt more attractive. And then I went back the next week and I cut the rounded Nefertiti. I cut that off, and I went for the full Kimmy Kane. And yes, my boyfriend had a problem, but I was like, oh well. Again, I was like, this is it. This is my hairstyle. Then I kept going back. I kept seeing it. I saw this picture of a little Dahomey princess with circles cut into her head, and I went and got the circles cut into my head. I was like, Eureka, why would I ever do anything else to my hair? I was like, I can walk in the rain. I can take my dance classes. I can go to I always got compliments. Then when I was traveling, I have never gone to a country, whether my hair was very, very short or whether I had the little beady beads, twists, then double. I have never gone to a country, Greece, Korea, Asian countries. I can't remember all the places I've been to. Croatia. I've never been to a country where I have not received compliments on my hair walking, on the aircraft. So when I think of the pain that I went through, no one could ever get me to go back. That's just a non-negotiable. So anyway, I was sitting here folding the clothes this evening. Let me bring it back. I was looking at some styling channels. And, they have a lot of do's and don'ts around fashion. This is how you wear your jeans, styling colors, styling crop tops, styling shoes. And, I'm understanding balancing, right? Especially if someone that's petite in terms of height. I'm only about 5'2". And as I'm looking at, again, I'm going to bring this back to when we were talking earlier about listening, right? Feeling your hair, listening to your breathing, which your movement practice can really cue you into a very natural way of listening to your breathing. I'm watching this woman. She has some great info on her channel. And she's talking about styling, but I noticed several times when I look at her channel, I feel a sense of irritation. And I'm like, this is my dialogue. Now, it's not personal. I don't even know this woman. And I'm listening. I don't know if you ever do this. I'm listening to my internal dialogue. And I hear myself or my mental activity thinking, I don't like her. I don't like, what do you not like? And I was like, now, it's not about me being lazy or wanting to look like a bum. Because I do enjoy fashion. I enjoy being healthy. But I was like, so I had to just dig deeper. I was like, what is it that I don't like? What is it that I don't like? I don't know this child. I don't know this woman. What is it? And I realized like it felt like every 10 seconds, every video, it's capsule wardrobe, but and I get it's her business. Throughout the whole video, the link is in the description for this. Now, maybe at some point I'll put a link in the description. I mean, I have some books, by the way, Holding Foods in the Hood with Names Fit Your Budget. There are things that I use. I don't have a whole bunch of products to recommend. I don't have a whole bunch of stuff. I've even had someone ask me to sell products for multi-level marketing. And I was like, well, I just threw in my shower caddy and all my products. And they were like, well, it's organic. I was like, yeah, but how could it be organic if it's not real food? See, this is the way my mind works. And they were like, you must not like money. I was like, I like money, but not that much. I can't sell something because I'm not using it. I got rid of it because I found it stressful. The amount of things to buy. And even now, I like fashion, but I don't prioritize. I don't spend as much. I'll do vintage all day, which is so inexpensive. And if I want to play and continue to evolve my style, I mean, I can buy something for $2, $5. Vintage, I think here sometimes in some respects is even better than some of the other places that I live. So I feel comfortable. If I spent like $1 or something for a t-shirt, I could use it to wipe the bunny's cage and toss it or reuse it for something else, as a rag. So, but starting to acquire too much stuff, to me, it feels suffocating. It feels like it's too much. Now, if I'm going to use it, fitness equipment, I'm going to use. I have some yoga mats I will use until I know they're kind of used up, but I'm like, this is a quality yoga mat for $100. One time I couldn't imagine spending $100 on a yoga mat, yet it has served me. I really, really use it. When I speak about the food, I'll spend a bit more for the peaches or the blueberries because that is a value. But all of the chains and the clinky and so much makeup, I found like, I don't want to say it's triggering, but the feeling of it feels suffocating. It makes me think of when I was looking to move around and to travel. And sometimes you can't leave because you're in a box with stuff called an apartment. And you're paying for all of your stuff. Now, granted, I like a Vitamix and I like a NutriBullet, but I can actually do without those things. And there have been times I've traveled. Some people ask me about traveling and living abroad. Maybe one day I'll do something on that. I don't know if everything is for the internet. Yet I felt free when I got rid of all of that stuff. I felt free. I don't like feeling like a prisoner to stuff. And I like to feel like I could get rid of all of this stuff and keep it moving. And I find too much furniture, too much stuff, 20 million subscriptions. Does anybody else feel dizzy? Like I felt dizzy from the amount of things and I felt like it felt like plasticky. Like I don't want to look like plastic. I don't want to feel like plastic. I don't want to have plastic on my skin and 20 million things on my back. When you've traveled a lot and then you got to go through security, oh my gosh, I feel like I don't want to do this anymore. This is not fun. Schlepping through different airports, not knowing the time zone that you're in, then it's not so cute anymore. So, what is that song? Aaron got bag lady. It feels like being a mental bag lady. It's too much stuff. So, to get rid of everything and to let the things come forth that make you feel at ease. Do you notice the things that make you feel at ease? So I notice when I feel like my skin is healthy, and as someone that had a lot of acne, it brings a smile to my face because I feel free. To get caught in the pouring rain in rainy season, and my whole hair and scalp could get wet, and I could just stand there, and it's not freezing cold. It feels freeing to get invited to go on a canoe ride, to go travel down to the ocean out of the blue, and I can just go and I can get wet. It feels so free to not to have to wear toenail polish, or to be worried about if my nails gonna pop off as I'm making a wrap, or if my hands are in the garden in dirt, or if my hands are in food, to feel like my nails not gonna pop off into the food, or if I'm hot and I'm sweaty, oh, my makeup rolls off. What are people gonna say? I don't know. Is it just me? Because that feels dizzying. That feels like a prison. That doesn't, I can look at it and appreciate it, but it doesn't hold a lot of appeal for me. So we are all different. I'm not making that battle run. We are all at different levels, or not levels, but different areas in our personal journey along this spectrum, right? While we have a human suit in this journey called life. When I wake up in the early day, and I get up very, very early, or when I'm shutting down for the evening, I can just hear the crickets, and I find it very, very soothing. I can hear different birds, and I can notice, right, again with the listening, a quiet listening. I can notice different birds sounding off at different times of the year, and sometimes I can notice it was two or three, and I can hear them yelling to each other, communicating to each other from different trees, and it gives me a sense of calm. It triggers, right? If you're going to be triggered, I find it triggers calm. It triggers peace. I can notice my internal dialogue like, man, I'm going to get away from this computer. I wish I didn't have to turn it on because it's such a distinct difference. It's, again, one of the reasons why I absolutely adore the early hours of the day. What are you saying, Queen Day? Decluttering and at the point where everything can fit in a van. I know that's right, honey. I never felt more free. There have been times where I've had some of the wealthiest experiences of my life. I didn't have a lot of people with me. I remember traveling across Israel. I left my house with like $5 or $6. I think it was $5. I had enough for a Metro card back in the day. And I didn't have anyone with me, but I could tell you what I did have with me. I had my trusty homemade trail mix from the food co-op, and I had my homemade whole wheat couscous with different spices in it in Ziplocs. I had my faux pearls that were $1, and I had some Payless shoes, and that has taken me to quite a few countries to have some different experiences. I had very rich experiences, so I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful I'm so grateful to natural hair. I'm so grateful. I am so grateful to fruits and vegetables. I can eat. I feel confident. I can eat anywhere with $5. I can. Thank you. Shout out to Grandma Lou. I feel confident. So that's off the table. I feel like I can dress very, very well. With a little dress and faux pearls and no pearls. And I feel even more comfortable that I don't have to slick my edges. But it is also, I have constantly retrained my eye. I can look very polished. I don't need a lot. I can go without earrings. That has been something that's been intentional. That's something that's been very, very intentional. Chris, yes, we need balance. I feel you. Simply life is healing away from all side clutter and noise. And yes, and I don't want to demonize playing and makeup and being creative. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm highly aware of gaslighting and what I wish I knew what it was when I was young, because we gaslit every which way to Sunday. And a lot of times we be gaslighting as a culture. It's humans, and definitely as Afro people. I'm going to tell you, sometimes we be gaslighting each other. Right. And so I'm aware. I listen. I'm aware. An observer of patterns. I'm an observer of pattern. I also understand what compassion that is. Compassion doesn't mean passivity. Though I do understand as humans, sometimes it makes us feel more comfortable when we're projecting where we are onto each other. Because sometimes we have questions. Aren't you going to eat any of that? Don't you drink any coffee? Don't you want any beer? Don't you want even a little bit of this? And it's like, no, sometimes people may not understand why. And I was a junk food junkie, why I may not eat certain things. It's amazing to me that I'm not craving certain junk. However, there's clarity, and I say clarity is worth its weight in gold. There's a reason why. There's certain nuances. So when people sometimes are demanding recipes or workouts, so those are great. That's not necessarily going to be your why. It's the why. It's the why. And there's several whys that I have as to why I don't consume certain things. So people want to know why. Well, that is in Whole Living Foods in the Hood. If you want a peek into my why and my mindset, that might save you, shorten your learning curve. But I can tell you a couple of whys. I don't like needles. I don't like needles. I don't want to take insulin. At least that's what I'm striving for, to stay nice and healthy. I don't want to buy a whole bunch of bigger clothing sizes. I'm going to feel comfortable in my body. I like the feeling of really being able at this point in my life to give myself validation, that knowing that the likes online, it's temperamental, it's fickle. The moment you have an opinion that's different than somebody, or you do something somebody doesn't like, they snatch back the likes. So to be able to validate yourself in your imperfections and in your own mistakes, and give yourself grace and continue to work to develop yourself, gives me a sense of calm and a sense of peace, because it's not dependent on something outside of myself. It's not dependent on my weight. It's not dependent on whether I have a pimple or not. It's not dependent on a black man, white man, black woman, who likes me, who doesn't, even if that's family members. So there are my whys have given me a sense of calm and clarity, and I radical self-acceptance. It's not just about the physical looks. It's understanding or comprehending that I will make mistakes, and I am ever a work in process, and I'm constantly learning. I am a student of life. I'm a forever student. So shout out Chrissy and Queen Ra and Carolyn Shepherd and Doris. I just wanted to pop on. I want to encourage you to feel your hair. Let me know. Do y'all sit down and you put your hand on your scalp? Because I'm telling you, the fluffiness, this feels really good. It feels grounded. The bigger and the fluffier they are. Now, again, as someone with fine hair, I can be very apprehensive. I was always thinking, I don't know if you know who Steel Pulse the reggae group is, but I was like, I don't want the Steel Pulse trees. It looks cute on them, but I was like, I don't want Steel Pulse. But the chunkiness, it feels good. It's something about it feels very, very good. So do you notice what feels good in your body? Do you notice when your digestion is at rest, when you feel like, I'm actually like really not hungry? I was actually eating out of nervousness, anxiety. I've had enough food. I've had enough nutrition. It's time for me to chillax right now. Let me just rest and feel my body. Can y'all relate? Can y'all relate? Have you ever explored those kind of things? Those are some of the things that I like to explore and that you can check out in some of the relaxation videos on this channel. I want to encourage you all to consider the question of what do I need my body to be able to do for me in the next 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Men have their version, but definitely as women, I don't think many of us are prepared for the things that are going to be coming down the line. And whether you have a healthy weight or not, we're in an environment where there's so many chemicals, there's so much that's happening with the food. This is not about fear mongering, but a reality check. Many of us are not prepared or clueless. And there are a lot of things women are not talking about. You're not prepared. Many of us are not prepared for the next phase of life after childbearing years. Not prepared. Not prepared for what's coming down the line. So I would encourage you to start to make significant men, I don't think are prepared either. So while all of this distraction of gender wars is it's an absolute waste of time. Absolute waste of time. And what could really level the playing field is really simple. It's accountability and responsibility. Because then that will make most of us want to get quiet and focus on what we need to take care of. Right? And all of us are going to get old at some point, whether you have prosthetics in your face or your butt or whatever, or your chest, male and female. Gravity is coming for us all. There will be times where you'll likely be sick and you'll need someone to care for you. So have you made those kinds of investments in relationships? And first, have you made them into yourself, right? Also, so we're not a burden to our children or our partners because we're so ill, because we haven't taken care of ourselves. You know, it's not really fair for us not to take care of ourselves and just to assume that folks just want to take care of us, you know, to give them extra to deal with just because we simply haven't taken care of ourselves. Accountability and responsibility for your reproductive organs, for your choices and what to eat, for us to get mature and mature up. People say level up, but to mature up, right? To suck it up and get clear on what it is that we need to do and be about that life, you know? So that's not show-offy. That doesn't require 10 tons, you know, of makeup. And again, I'm not anti-makeup or luxuriating, yet health for me is my number one beauty product. But we all know that's an ever-moving goalpost and a lot of gaslighting. So I wish you all, sending you all some warm, positive vibrations. Feel free to replay this on your drive to or from work, or as you're on your treadmill, as you're jumping on your trampoline. Feel free to join me in the mornings, 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for Harriet Squats, Body-Culinary Signature Workout, 5 a.m. Every Friday is a community class. Currently, right now, that's open to women and it has particular issues about women and our breasts at this particular time. So, no offense to anyone. Whole Living Foods in the Hood with menus that fit your budget. That has pictures in it and sample shops. And then whether you have $5, $20, $200 when you shop at the wholesaler, that is available to you. Natural Beauty New Products. If you're interested in downsizing, see, I had a whole nice amount of acne and scarring, and it's only really 100% living foods and a dedicated movement practice with lots of sweating. That's what cleared it up. Not products. Food and movement. Simple, straight up and down. And coaching is every Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So reach out to me if you have questions for group coaching, or if you'd like individual coaching for weight release. If you have an attachment to eating lots of substances masquerading as food and junk food to comfort yourself, not to make yourself bad or wrong, but that's something you want to shift, and you like to change the composition of your body, you can reach out to me and join me in the mornings early, and I invite you. You know, you can go to bed earlier because you ain't really missing out on nothing, child. The FOMO is whack. A lot of stuff you missing out on headaches a lot of the time. So if you perhaps are someone, whether you're single in a relationship, this is the best time to really focus and get grounded and have a great time with yourself. I know metabolize adipose tissue. So if you have sweet dreams, you can allow your mind to have a deep rest, all that mental activity, and just download, listen to some crickets, with some nature sounds, and you so you can have a deep rest. And I'll see you soon.